It's fast, it's frenetic, and it's a festival favourite for all lovers of motorsport. This is Formula E Street Racers, and this is the Goodwood Festival of Speed. Famed for showcasing some of the planet's fastest cars, it's a celebration of everything and anything from the motoring world, including the very latest in interactive technology. And on that note, let's catch up now with two good friends of the show.
Prove yourself, and you can become the software engineer that makes this roar. Prove yourself, and you could be the next in line for greatness.
So, Mitch, Adam, great to see you here at Goodwood Festival of Speed. Now, you've got something a bit different with you in this Jaguar tent, haven't you?
We've got the new Gorillaz app, and you can download it and spec your IPS concept, which is really cool.
We're going to get the expert in. We've got Laura here from Jaguar. Laura, tell us a bit about this app, because it isn't just a game, is it?
No, it's
more
not.
to it.
Absolutely. So we've teamed up with the Gorillaz, obviously a band that has always innovated, lived and breathed the virtual world. And in the Gorillaz house, which is the app that you can download on your phone, we've created a Jaguar garage. And in the garage is our concept I-Pace. And people are invited to help build the I-Pace. And after that, they are challenged to crack a series of codes. And if they're successful in their problem solving of cracking the code, they're fast-tracked into our business to potentially become new cyber and software engineers. So far, we have had about 40,000 people download the app, and there's been 475 people who have managed to crack the code, which...
So it's pretty tough then?
It's tough. It's tough.
Is this how they recruit MI5?
We want to try and recruit 5,000 engineers globally. And the brilliant thing about the sort of engineering that we're talking about here is that you can actually work anywhere in the world.
Let's see how our drivers get on. How do you think they'll do today?
Well, fingers crossed, they'll be code crackers, but actually we're quite keen that they remain as drivers rather than engineers.
So, guys, I've come in to check on your progress. How are you doing?
I don't know, I think we're doing all right. It says, Bosch, you've nailed it. Your IPS concept complete.
And for you guys, I mean, you know how important it is to have decent engineers, or brilliant engineers, in fact. So it is important to get this next batch in, isn't it?
Absolutely, especially with this new technology that we're going through. It's a new era, so it gives them opportunity to sort of test their skills, and then, you know, obviously if you crack it, you can get an opportunity to meet the company and fast track it. Yeah, exactly. So great idea, and hopefully we can find some geniuses out there that can help us on track. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I'll leave you to the game. Have a good afternoon at Goodwood, and don't get too glued to your mobile phone. Got to see the sights.
Yes, we will indeed. Thank you.
From the Jaguar boys to another Formula E partnership that's thrived once again this season. Back in Berlin, Renault eDams confirmed both their drivers have signed new contracts, committing Nico Prost and Sebastien Buemi to the team until 2019. A good time then to catch up with the defending champion, who's won 6 of this season's 8 races. So what's made you decide to stay with Formula E?
Of course, I'm really happy in that championship, and the biggest thing really is to try to continue to have success as long as possible. And I thought that staying with the team is the best opportunity for me. So clearly we worked well together, and hopefully, you know, those next 2 seasons will be as good as what we've had so far. And I think, you know, that staying in the team with Nico is the great decision from the team. If you look at all the team in the championship, the most successful team were the one that had a bit of stability, like Abt or Virgin. So I'm really happy, obviously, to stay on for another 2 seasons.
What has been your secret this season? Because you seem to be unstoppable.
I think there is no secrets. I think it's just the matter of getting everything together. It's a compromise, obviously. You cannot win races in a bad car, or in a good car with a bad driver doesn't work. So I think the compromise with the team, the car and myself, it worked very well. So hopefully it will continue for a few more races like that.
Obviously a lot of it is a mental game. And so how much of it do you think is down to your character?
Again, it's hard to say. I've never driven in a different car. So it's difficult to say how much the car is doing, how much I bring to the team. But what we can say is that it worked well. So now I think I'm in a good momentum, you know, the car's working well, I'm able to direct the team in the right direction quickly, which means we can maybe extract a little bit more of the free practice session and out of the car itself. So difficult to say. I mean, I've been doing a few mistakes in season one, quite a few. Then I've done less in season two.
Sebastien Buemi is slowing, the race leader, and has he run into problems for the Renault team?
And I didn't do so many this year, so I'm trying just to improve myself, learn exactly where to push, where to back off a little bit, when not to take risk. And I think this season I've done a good job, you know, not pushing too much when the car or myself we were not working well, like in Marrakesh. You know, we had a penalty, started 7th, took it step by step in the race, managed to win, where maybe in the past I would have pushed very hard and had a contact with someone. So I'm trying to see the whole picture, a bit more like Lucas did in the past. You know, he always had a good way of managing the risk, and I think I've done that better this year than I've ever done before.
Now, Sebastien Buemi is riding high at the moment, but that could all change after rounds 9 and 10 in New York. Commitments to Toyota in the World Endurance Championship means he'll be replaced by the 2016 GP2 Series champion, Pierre Gasly, opening the door for the likes of Lucas de Grassi of Abt Schaeffler to close the gap or even take the lead in the FE title race. Elsewhere, Sam Bird, who drives for Ferrari in WEC, has confirmed that despite the clash, he will be racing for DS Virgin in New York, while another WEC driver, Stefan Sarazan, will continue on for Techeetah. More good news is that the FIA have now reached an agreement that there will be no clashes between Formula E and WEC from next season. From the men who drive the cars to the essential component that fuels them, time to get your geek on with our man Mark.
Energy is the one thing that really does make the world go round. And of course it makes our Formula E cars go round too. But it can't be just conjured up out of thin air. It can only be transferred from somewhere else. So where exactly does Formula E get its energy from? Each event uses around 15 megawatt hours of energy, and that's a lot. About 2.9 of those are used for charging the cars, and the rest is powering things like lighting and charging stations and electric vehicles around the venue. Now that may not be as much as some other big, more traditional type events, but it is still many more times than the average person would use in a whole year. Behind these screens is perhaps one of Formula E's hidden gems. Very special generators are providing all of the energy that the Formula E cars need to charge up, but incredibly it's doing it using an innovative and very exciting new source of fuel. So Andy, you guys have developed these pretty impressive generators behind us. Can you tell me a little bit about how they work?
It's based on a standard Cumming diesel generator, but adapted to run on glycerin. I have a sample here of the fuel, which you can taste it if you want. It's non-toxic.
Really?
Yes. Water soluble.
That is really sweet.
Although we call it a fuel in the traditional sense, it doesn't behave like a fuel in that we don't have any problems storing it. It burns cleanly. You can source it almost anywhere.
Just tell me exactly why it's so much better than something like diesel, for example.
We're looking at probably a 50% reduction in CO2 produced with this system. If you take that over a season, we're looking at probably 12,000 tonnes less CO2 produced.
Glycerin generators like the ones here at Formula E may only just be starting to become well known, but the potential is huge for them to spread around the world and help solve some of those renewable energy issues. The field's firing off in loads of different directions, but what's great is that Formula E is right here at the forefront of it, helping to push it all forward.
Here at Goodwood, you'll always find some absolute classics in motoring design. And when you think of England, there's one car in particular that hasn't changed in decades, until now.
We're basically, part of the actual urban landscape of London. You think of London, you think of the Shard, you think of the Routemaster bus, you think of the black cab. We've sold into Paris, to Germany. The King of Tonga has got his own black cab. Cities are changing. Air quality is a huge issue in London. Londoners are really aware of the dangers of the air that they breathe. There are 22,000 diesel cabs in London. There's around 40,000 diesel cabs in cities around the UK. That contributes to air quality issues in cities. Some of the people actually who are most affected are our cab drivers, our customers. And essentially we're looking to find a way to tackle that. From the tail end of this year, we're going to be introducing the electric taxi. It will be on London's roads in the autumn. To deliver this new purpose-built vehicle, we've invested £325 million in a new factory in Coventry. It's the UK's first factory that's dedicated to the production of ultra-low emission vehicles. Passengers in the back of black cabs have to have the reassurance that their vehicle will get them wherever they need to go, whatever the weather conditions. And in the UK, it's pretty variable. So for that reason, we have taken the vehicle to North Norway to actually test the vehicle in sub-zero temperatures to make sure that the vehicle will be able to operate in any conditions. We've made the choice to use a range-extended electric platform. That means a small petrol engine on board which acts as a kind of backup generator. So it will have over 70 miles electric range, and the kind of time taken to top up using a rapid charger will be around 20 minutes. So someone can top up whilst having a tea break or a sandwich. One of the great things about this project is that TfL, they're saying by around the end of 2020 we're going to see 9,000 electric cabs on London's roads. Why that's great is it actually gives businesses the confidence to invest in electric vehicle infrastructure in the capital because they know it's going to be used. We're going to hopefully see a really rapid transition in London and cities around the UK.
So, London cabs will be going electric soon, but there's one big name in motorsport who made that transition a long time ago. He also happens to be a record holder in these parts. So Nick, here we are again at Goodwood. Tell me about setting that record back in '99.
That was amazing. Actually, what made me push a bit harder was that in the previous outings there was another Mercedes Le Mans car that was a bit quicker, and at McLaren we said this is not possible, so we pushed a bit more.
It's one hell of a record to keep for so long. It's been like 18 years.
It's a special record, but to be fair, since a few years after I did the record, modern F1 cars were not allowed to push anymore, or at least not to have it timed, because it's just getting too dangerous.
Tell me about this car behind me, because it looks like the FE cars that I'm used to seeing, but actually this is your next season car, isn't it?
Yes, visually it's difficult to see because most of the new parts are underneath, but unfortunately we're not allowed to show you.
Is it faster?
It shall be a little faster, but as you know, in Formula E we are limited to 200 kilowatts in qualifying. In race mode we go from 170 to 180 kilowatt, so yes, there we're making progress.
You're trying to set the open-wheeled electric vehicle record today, going uphill.
Yes.
How are you feeling about it?
It will be a little bit off the F1 times, but still it would be nice to have 2 records.
Well, best of luck. I really hope you smash it.
Thank you.
And yeah, I can't wait to find out.
Cool.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Now here is the record holder for the hill, Nick Heidfeld. He was driving a McLaren back then, now he's driving an FIA Formula E car, the Mahindra car, the M4 Electro. This is a Season 4 development car, not being raced yet. Heidfeld saying yesterday, there isn't much more to come out of this machine. He gets very, very twitchy as he comes into Moulcombe. We ride on board with him here.
Into Moulcombe, keep it neat, back on the power.
Half a second up as the back end tries to swap ends on him, but he keeps it all together, Nick Heidfeld. Obviously a very different machine to the ones we've seen before. Pretty quiet, but he is chucking that around through the middle sector now, and he's still 2.5 tenths of a second up. So this is going to be a close one here for Heidfeld. This final hill, major struggle with the electric powertrain as he now comes across the line. Nick Heidfeld setting a 48.59, which is still the quickest time for an electric single-seater up the hill here at Goodwood.
This week's Street Racers is near the south coast of England for one of motorsport's favourite events, the Goodwood Festival of Speed. But it was around this time last year in the UK's capital that Formula E sped around a street circuit for the last time in Season 2, as the nail-biting campaign came down to the final race.
It's the championship decider in the second round of FIA Formula E. We go green in London. It's a very good start from De Grassi. Is he going to be able to pull alongside and try and attack Nico Prost on the run down to turn 1? He's not quite able to do so. How aggressive is he going to be? Coming down into turn 3, into the left-hander, he goes side by side. Oh, he hits him! I don't believe it!
What he did? They brake so early there.
Lucas, we're going to do a car change, and we're going to try to go for fastest lap.
Can you believe it's happened immediately? Buemi's still going though. All Buemi needs to do now is come into the pits, change over into his other car, set the fastest lap, and he could win the championship. Now Buemi has gone out onto the circuit, so we'll keep an eye out on his sector times. There's more traffic coming up though for Sebastien Buemi.
26.0 is set right now, fastest lap.
De Grassi is on the lap and he's purple in sector 1, De Grassi. Fastest first sector of anyone for the Brazilian. On the brakes, into the final turn at Chelsea Gate and out towards the line. Surely this is going to be the fastest lap of the race. 24.6, it's not! It's 2/10 slower! So at the moment, 0.05 of a second are separating the two drivers. Across the line comes Sebastien Buemi. Is it going to be even faster? 24.5. Is it to be? Yes, 24.150. Great lap. Is that the championship over for Lucas de Grassi?
Sorry, that was the maximum I could do.
Checker flag falls. Prost wins. Renault are the champions. Sebastien Buemi is the FIA Formula E champion. And now Buemi breaks down. It's been a long, hard season. He's had a lot of pressure. 1 year ago, he missed out on the championship by 1 point. 2 weeks ago, he missed out on winning Le Mans by 2 laps. Now, he's the Formula E champion.
What an incredible finale to Season 2, but perhaps a little lost in all the excitement was the man who won both the races in that London doubleheader. Now, we already know that the absence of Sebastien Buemi for New York's doubleheader means that Nico Prost will have a new Renault eDams teammate for rounds 9 and 10 of Season 3.
And it's the same at DS Virgin, where Jose Maria Lopez's world endurance commitments means a debut for the team's number 3 driver, who invited Mark along for some early practice.
Right, I think this is the door. Very secretive room, and I'm very lucky, quite excited to see what's inside. We're here at the DS Performance Centre in Versailles, just outside Paris, for a very first look at the New York E-Prix racetrack. Alex Lee's at the wheel, inside the DS Virgin simulator. Here we go, starting the lap, let's have a look.
When I look at the track layout, it looks like a very Formula E track. Tight, twisty, narrow. everything that as a driver you like, and also as a fan I think you want to see.
Is it going to be a tough circuit on energy and on the cars generally, and are there opportunities around here to save energy and recuperate under regen?
Because there's so many slow speed corners, and there is the opportunity to recuperate the energy we're using obviously when accelerating. So from that side, it'll be putting a lot of stress on the drivetrain, and also they'll be giving the engineers a lot of headaches, I'm sure. We're trying to optimise the energy mapping, etc.
Well, I don't want to hold you back any longer. You desperately want to get in it, I'm sure.
Cheers,
I'll
mate.
let you crack on.
Thanks.
Hello.
Hello.
Thibaut.
Yeah.
Mark, how
nice
are you?
to meet you.
You okay?
Fine, thank you.
Now, somebody told me I can have a go.
Yeah, for sure.
It's all right?
Yeah.
Well, look, I know how the pedals work. How's that bit work?
So the pedals is upshift there and downshift there, like on a real car.
Yeah. All right, well, should we have a go?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Quite excited about this, I've got to say. Up into second gear, wrestling with the steering wheel as we're on the brink of traction. Very easy to lock the brakes. Whoa, that is such a tight hairpin. It gives you real positive feedback on the steering wheel. It feels like exactly like what should be happening. Oh, still can't get that hairpin right. I'm trying to get used to this car, which is so realistic. It's not just a computer game, and the feedback that it gives you through the steering wheel is pretty accurate. Sam Bird and Alex Lynn have done it, and they seem to do far better than I did. Maybe that's why they're racing drivers. Is that my lap time on the screen?
Yeah, your best one.
That's my best one. Right, we'll just edit that out, right? And we'll go a couple of seconds off that, yeah? Nice one.
From virtual circuits to flying circuits. Now, this weekend at Goodwood, it's not just the cars that are feeling the need for speed. Let's check out one of the newest crazes in racing. So, Joe, tell me a bit about drone racing. How does it all work?
Well, drone racing is, it's like a video game on steroids. Those guys are viewing a race through their binoculars. It's very much like sitting in the cockpit of an airplane and looking through the windscreen. It's getting very popular worldwide. You know, the sport really started in the US. It's such an engaging thing. It gets you outside. Kids love it.
5 years ago, drone racing was just in its infancy, right? No one was really doing it. Now, every weekend, you could find a drone race in the UK. And some of the best pilots, one of the ones that won one of the biggest drone races was from the UK, and he's 12 years old. So it's a rare sport where 12-year-olds can compete with 40-year-olds, and often they're faster.
I got into this thing about 2 years ago. One day I started watching YouTube, seeing the pilots who we've got here today, and they kind of got me motivated to do this kind of stuff. So I learned to watch videos how to build these. These drones here, the Riot 250 Pros, 0 to 100 in 0.7 seconds.
Since I started drone racing and learnt a lot more about physics, my science results have really improved. I used the simulator first, and then I went straight to flying, with the goggles and everything, and I was really surprised that I could actually just do it straight away.
You can probably get up and flying pretty good with about 20 hours of practice. These guys make it look simple. To have this kind of skill, you're hundreds and hundreds of hours. The craft incorporates all of those STEM principles: science, technology, engineering, math. We're trying to build for the future generations that are going to make our transportation industry grow.
We have with the drones a STEM education drone. Students build it themselves, they configure it themselves, and then they learn how to fly it. And so through the curriculum, you're not only learning about the physics of how does it fly, the electronics, but also about the real-world applications. So how are drones being used? How can they be used ethically? So what we're excited about is what's next. What are these students going to come up with that doesn't even exist now?
Wow, it really is quite an exciting thought of where we'll be in maybe 5 years' time.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? But those are the students that are going to drive it forward and take us to the next level.
Before we go, time to get a quick check on social media. Nick Heidfeld has retweeted praise from his Mahindra boss after becoming a double record holder at Goodwood. Also, at the Festival of Speed, App Schaeffler's Lucas de Grassi couldn't resist a selfie. He also reassured street racers that he'll be fighting fit for New York after surgery on his broken ankle. And never shy of a publicity stunt, with Alex Lynn stepping in for Jose Maria Lopez in the USA, DS Virgin have unveiled their new reserve driver for the round 9 and 10 double. Well, at least he looks the part.
Well, that's it from Goodwood. Next time, we're in the Big Apple for rounds 9 and 10 of the season. So, we'll see you then. Right, which one of these is mine? Oh.